Who's hungry?
Me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
This was fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Too bad it's over.
Dun, dun, dun.
Or is it?
It's not over.
It's not over?
What?
It's not over.
What do you mean?
It's not over.
What?
Why is it
It's
not,
not over. We've got to announce a winner to our FGN Pickem.
I could do that better.
Although there are only 2 that are in the running to win it.
Well,
Who
you
are
know
those
what?
two?
You could do the top 4 make the playoffs,
Seth
and now we
Walker.
go back to 0-0.
Welcome to the Friday Game Night Pick'em Show here on AccessWDUN.com. Bo Wilson, as usual, with these guys, Jeff Hart, Caleb Hutchins, Walter McQuarrie, somewhere in the world, and our producer, as always, Seth Chapman.
Who probably feels like he wishes he was anywhere else.
Yes, he does.
What's
He
new?
I want to give a shout out to Seth. He got that North Gwinnett Norcross game right last week.
He's
so
isn't he
round of
3-0?
applause for him.
I am 3-0.
That's pretty impressive.
You know,
Yeah, if I could
he's a
carry
good
it in, if I
guesser.
could carry it into the locks for our own coverage zone,
he's
that'd be
having
great.
one of those.
but-
He's having one of those LSU seasons, and we know what happened to them after they won the title.
I will say this, Seth. I will say this. You did pick first on most of the normal picks last week, and you did beat Walker Tucker.
oh, hey, cool.
You
did.
Yeah.
You, myself, and Caleb finished 14-4. Walker and Jeff were 13-5.
Note
So
the
there you
surprise
go.
in my voice when I went, yeah.
Yay! So maybe you are a real picker.
At least
Also, can we say this, by the way, Walker, can we say this, by the way, also, Walker
Yes.
McCreary, the newest voice of the Hampton Pirates, I believe it is.
Yeah.
Hey,
how about ya?
congratulations, sir.
Yeah, we've got we had some good games this week. Started off the season Monday night with the ladies in town playing Mid-Atlantic Christian. We get the men's season started next week. So
What sport are we
call some
talking
D1
about?
basketball. Get to come down to Athens for a game on November 30th. So that'll be fun.
So is that when you actually bring us the builder swag?
Bill, do you want builder swag or Pirates swag?
We'll take
now?
both.
That's
We'll
the
take both.
question.
Porque no
which
las
is better?
dos.
Which looks cooler, by the way?
I mean, I'm a builder through.
If
and
you
through,
if you wear a
so.
Builder shirt and a Hampton hat, you would actually look like a Carver Columbus fan because that's about the color
Yeah,
scheme.
that's
Okay,
that's
there
about
you
right.
go.
Yeah,
All right.
that'll be fun.
Hey, here we are, playoffs, guys. Week number 1 of the playoffs.
Here we are. Feels like yesterday
are.
we were doing
It
the
does.
first show
we
of the
were
season.
just-
And I think
here
it was
yesterday.
Caleb that jumped on me at the beginning of the season when I said, "Hey,
But look
it's
how
gonna
far
fly by.
we've come, guys.
And you told me to stop wishing the season away, and I wasn't wishing the season away.
No, but this is
I was
the-
just stating a fact.
Of course, you're stating a fact. You're also stating a fact that I already. I'm not arguing it's going to fly by. I knew it was going to fly by. I just don't want to talk about how it's going to fly
It
by.
did, though.
I
Yeah.
want to enjoy the moment.
I feel like I'm in a
There were a
tennis
few
match.
moments we enjoyed.
I
Yes,
feel like I'm in a tennis match. I'm going back and forth trying to listen to both of you.
Listen,
and
this is
there
the-
it is.
Listen.
Tennis.
One of my
check.
grandparents.
My neck hurts now.
One of my grandparents used to do this thing every time we'd go on vacation. We'd pack up the car, we'd
Oh,
leave,
yeah.
and as we leave, he goes, "Week from now, it'll all be over." I'm
Yeah.
Like, why would you say
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Why would you do that?
yeah. Well, that is vacation.
Well,
for
how
you.
about this? Every time I go on a vacation, my wife will go, "Last week we were doing so and so," and I said, "Well, now you just depressed me because I'm back home."
Hey, you know something else?
Yeah.
This time on Saturday, it was 12:37.
That's about the dumbest
true.
thing I've ever heard.
Okay, all right.
That's true.
That was what?
That's about the
That's
dumbest
true.
thing
I
I've heard
mean-
today.
That is the dumbest thing I've heard today. All
What,
right,
what are you contributing to this show?
not one thing. All right, week 1 of the playoffs, week 12. Not a lot of fireworks out, I guess you could say, in our coverage area. But
Well,
we did finish the season out. Some teams finished the season out strong. And
I think there were plenty of fireworks in
Yeah.
Cleveland, or not in Cleveland, but in Gilmer.
LJ,
Man, what a finish.
that was crazy.
What a finish for White County.
So crazy, the fact that I was listening to Drew Harris.
I want to know if he fell out of the chair on that last call because
We were in the press box at East Forsyth, so much so that I pulled the Jeff Hart on Friday and forgot my bag in the press box. Pulled out of the stadium, had to turn around
Well,
and go
wait,
back,
I
get
have-
PJ to open up the press box
I've
to
never
go and
left
get it.
my bag.
You've left something though.
I've left a
Yeah,
charger.
there you go. So
That's far different than a whole bag.
the game, the ending of that game was incredible.
That was insane.
Like the final down to the final play of that game
and they
because
came from
Gilmer
what, 22 down.
Gilmer, one play, and they rushed down to the 5-yard
to
line.
the 5-yard
Yes.
line.
That's how close it was.
I don't, how did they let that happen after the comeback like that? That was crazy. I would have liked to have actually seen that play and see what happened. But what a way to finish the year for the Warriors. That's a comeback for the ages.
Definitely a high note on that. Any other games impress you on Friday?
Not a ton, I would say, impressed me on Friday. I will say I was I might go back on that. I was impressed with how some teams responded to games that didn't really mean a whole lot, that could have very easily showed up and not played their A game, but they did that.
I think we're thinking of the same 2 games at least.
Well, I'm thinking of 3 off. Actually, I'm thinking of 4 actually right now. I'm thinking of Gainesville.
Yep.
I'm thinking of Buford. I'm thinking of Jefferson, and I'm thinking of North Forsyth.
Yep.
All 4 of those teams had absolutely nothing to play for, standings-wise, seeding-wise, all of that stuff. And yet they showed up and delivered arguably some of their best performances of the season. When you consider the kind of competition that Jefferson was facing with Eastside, beating them 35-6 was one of their more impressive performances of the year, I thought. Gainesville just sheerly dominant over Jackson County, 51-0. North Forsyth about the same down at Appalachia on the road. And for them, especially getting up off the mat after losing that heartbreaking game to Gainesville the week before, to see them get back. And I know Appalachia's bad, but to be able to get up off the mat and do that was really impressive.
Look, I would agree. I tell you, I was at the Gainesville game, and we had talked about that all week. Were they going to rest some people? How were they going to? When I talked to Josh Niblett after the game, he said that he thought that was their most complete game of the season. That's the time you want to pull out complete games, is when you're heading into the playoffs. They dominated that game on offense. They dominated that game on defense. They dominated on special teams. Never let Jackson County's defense had been pretty good all year. That was the most points they gave up by a large stretch. And just the manner in which Gainesville took control of that almost from the very beginning was I'm not going to say Jackson County quit, but you could see when it was 30-0, they were like, okay. We can't match up with these guys. And the reserves played most of the second half.
There's one more thing I want to talk about before we wrap up our conversation. I know we're going to get Walker's takes on Week 12, but
I forgot about Walker. Hey, Walker.
Hi, Jeff. Go ahead, Caleb.
Well, he didn't even introduce you.
He did.
Yeah, I did.
I just did it before you did it.
I know,
And Bo did at the beginning.
I know, but they haven't let you talk.
You forgot again, Jeff.
They haven't let you
fine.
talk. Okay.
One other thing I wanted to talk about is let's talk a little bit here about what Region 8-1A Division 1 did, which was on the field they did nothing. But they scheduled, and they're not the only region to do this, by the way. They're the only region in our coverage area. But statewide, they're one of several regions that have started to do this. Rather than let's pace out our bye weeks like a college conference would, where each team gets a bye, they alternate through the year. Why don't we all just schedule our buys on the last week so everybody that's going to the playoffs gets a nice breather before the postseason? That's an interesting move that I'm surprised more regions don't do.
Well, we'll have to see how it. I can see a pro and a con on that. Pro, get some guys healthy. You do get to rest. You can go scout whatever possible teams you think you're going to play. On the other hand, if you're really playing well, I don't know if you want to break. You want to keep that momentum going. If you're playing well, now you have a week off. You're kind of amped up, and there's a tendency to relax coming into the playoffs having not played. So I can see it both ways. But I think, particularly, let's take Commerce and Raven. They both played a very difficult schedule, probably had some guys beat up. I'm sure they were glad to take a break and get some guys back.
And going back to what I said about Gainesville, North Forsyth, how big and emotional a game that was. Well, and I know that both teams showed up and played well afterwards, but that would be one I imagine it'd be nice to get a bye week after to kind of recoup and refocus and all of that stuff.
Unless you're one of those programs that can't get your bye weeks scheduled the way you want them, and you have, a bye week. And that's not a good way to go. But, the schedule is what determines when the breaks are. But, I always thought, the best time to take a break would be that final week. But, how that stands as far as that
Dawson
goes.
County's getting to do it.
Yeah. So you look at Region 7-3A, Walker. We go back to it. That region began Friday night with Dawson, the clear-cut winner, but then you had 2, 3, and 4. At the point, you had Lumpkin sitting in there going on the road in the first round, but thank you to White County and thank you to Pickens, Lumpkin ends up being the number 2 seed at a Region 7 3A. But on the flip side, 8 3A, and I have no clue why any region group of coaches would get together and say, hey, guys, if there's a 3-way tie or if there's a tie in this region, we are going to flip a coin.
It happened my senior year of high school. We finished in a 3-way tie for the top of the region, and they did the exact same thing.
Should never be that.
And we got we started 9-0 that year and got the 3 seed going into the playoffs.
Yeah, because it doesn't, and Walker, you might agree or disagree. A coin toss does not award anybody other than a seeding, and a coin toss does not take into the fact of the body of work that all 3 teams have done throughout the season, Walker.
Well, and I think Dawson County probably catches the bad end of that because now they have to play Monroe area when if you went the way that the tiebreakers should have gone, they would have ended up playing Oconee and Lumpkin would have had Monroe area. I looked back at that over the weekend to see if –
that's better?
Well, I think it is.
I do think Monroe area is probably the better of those 2 teams.
I don't know. Oconee
well, Monroe
County,
area beat Oconee, so that's how that played out in the regular season. So Monroe area ends up having to be the 4 seed thanks to the coin flips, and Dawson has to play a team that beat a team seeded higher just because of a coin flip. I think that the coin flip. I just don't agree with the coin flip.
Well, nobody likes the coin flip.
Yeah,
nobody likes the coin flip. But Oconee County, I mean, this is a team that held Jefferson to 7 points. I mean,
That was early.
I know, but Oconee County, of their 10 regular season games, they played 8 teams that are in the playoffs. And it's the same for Monroe area. I think they had 7 teams that made the playoffs. So,
3 of them are from the region.
Take a coin flip. I don't think it really would have mattered. But, if everybody talks about how important the games are, you basically diminish an entire season with a coin flip. That is the most atrocious way to pick any playoffs in any sport. I don't care where you're talking about.
I would only be okay with it literally as a 5th or 6th tiebreaker where you're like, okay, I just don't have any more ideas at this point, and I can't imagine us ever having to use it. Yeah. Right. At that point, I would be okay with it. But to use it as the main way to decide a region, ever since what happened my senior year of high school, I have always hated the coin flip rule for the 3-way tie, and I will continue to hate it.
But you've got a region that is in the first year of the new alignment, so you get together, you make up these decisions with the football coaches, the ADs, and how are we going to do the tiebreaker?
Was that a unanimous
Anybody
vote?
got a quarter?
This is how it should work.
I don't know. Just flip a coin.
Yeah, just flip a coin.
I know that this will never happen, but this is how this should work. The Georgia High School Association should come up with a blanket tiebreaker policy for every region.
Absolutely.
I agree.
I mean, if they do it and have and it gets all the way to a coin flip in the 5th or 6th tiebreak, so be it. It's the policy across the board.
Also,
but I think that Dawson County would have rather played Oconee just because of the style that Oconee plays as compared to the style that Monroe area plays. Right. Oconee is a little bit better of a matchup on paper. I know we're going to get into this in a little bit, but that matchup to me, I think Sid Maxwell would have preferred that to the high-powered, spread them out offense that Monroe area is going to throw out there on Saturday in Tiger Stadium.
Also, just to say this too, how does that coin flip work? Because I just remember this actually. I said coin flip, but really what happened my senior year was we drew names out of a hat. They put the 3 teams' names literally in a hat. And they drew out one and said, okay, that's the 1 seed, and then the head-to-head matchup determined the 2-3.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they did the coin toss. I guess it's, okay, this is for the 4 seed, and then whatever's left.
I don't know how that works.
I don't know how that
my
works
guess,
either.
Because the tiebreak didn't include head-to-heads from what it looked like, my guess is everybody flipped a coin and the odd man out got either the 2 or the 4, and then then you flipped again for the 2-3 because again the head-to-heads didn't work out.
Well, if anybody from 8-3A is listening, maybe they might want to send. Maybe there's a more.
Can we see the coin?
Yes.
Can we see the actual coin?
It's a 1978 wheat penny.
Want evidence?
No, guys. Rather than the coin, I think the players take the players with the best stats from each team and just have them each do simultaneous backflips until one of them eats it. I think that'd be the better way.
That would be fun to watch.
In pads or no?
No pads, no.
No, you got to do in pads. Full uniform.
Right.
Helmet and everything. It would make
Oklahoma
the
drill to figure out who wins.
Oklahoma drill,
between the coaches. Oklahoma drill between the coaches.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, coaches have to
Nice.
be in full gear too.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
for safety, obviously.
As
for
soon as we
safety.
suggest
For
that
safety,
you
yes.
can fit, they're
Yeah.
going to fix it because they don't want to do that.
Yeah, they'll fix it.
Yeah, they'll fix this mess.
Okay, let's get on into talking a little bit and more in depth of some of these teams. We'll just start. I have no order here, just highlighted these.
Okay.
Blessed Trinity at North Forsyth. It's Region 7-3 versus Region 8, number 2 in this one over at Raider Valley.
Raider Valley, there you go.
Should be an interesting game. Huh? Yeah?
I think this is the most.
I mean, Blessed Trinity normally is, but Blessed Trinity playing in 6A now. So.
Right.
Yeah.
This is definitely, I think, the most interesting. Either this or Dawson Oconee is the most or not Dawson Monroe area. Either this or Dawson Monroe area is the most engaging, interesting first round playoff game that we have, I think.
Well, a couple of things. We probably could go to the Jeff Hart stat of the day on this, but I got several on these games. But if you, this is a good one.
Hey,
This
might
is
as
a good
well.
one.
Well, let's do the good one. Let's do the good one.
Let's roll the clip.
Here's some things you need to know.
It's Jeff Hart's interesting stat of the show.
Okay, I always love that. It's kind of fun to
It's
see.
a nice
that.
touch.
Which part? You laughing
Just-
and clapping or what?
Just the whole thing.
Oh,
It's kind of. It's Caleb singing actually.
He's got his own jingle
Jeff
now.
Hart
We've
style
made his
show.
head
Yeah.
about this big.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
New
We
segment.
gave him theme music.
Yeah.
Both of these teams are like turnovers. They're both ball hawks. As far as the defenses, the Raiders, they forced 19, and Blessed Trinity has forced 18. I think this is where the game's going to be won or lost because, as we've seen, North Forsyth has had a propensity throughout the year they can go on a turnover binge, and then they can also play flawless. So I think the North Forsyth offense is the key to this. If Blessed Trinity is able to get them to turn the ball over, which they've done before, I think Blessed Trinity can steal this on the road. But if North Forsyth plays like they played against Gainesville for 3 quarters, then I think they can win this game. This is going to be an interesting matchup. They've never met in their history. So I think this is going to be – it could be a toss-up game. I think I'm going to go with North Forsyth being at home. I think – the Gainesville game, they got that out of their system. They know what they need to do. They showed that they can beat a team like Gainesville, who's been ranked in most of the season. I think that they can put a game together and start putting complete games together and not doing the mistakes. And since their defense can turn over an offense too, I think they'll get a few. So I think they're going to win this game, maybe by a touchdown or so.
We have seen – this is such a hard game to predict because we have seen the full gamut by North Forsyth. We have seen them really kind of dominate Gainesville for like almost 3 full quarters, and then we've seen them get smacked around by Creekview and really everything in between. So what kind of North Forsyth team shows up? I think that probably is what dictates this game. But look at Blessed Trinity, man. They're a 3 seed. You might be asking, why are they a 3 seed? Well, go look at their region. Okay, they're in a region with Roswell, who is one of the top teams in 6A this year. Certainly top 5, I think. And Alpharetta, who might be the most improved team outside of Gainesville in 6A. So that's why they're the number 3 seed out of Region 7. I am taking Blessed Trinity in this one on the road at North Forsyth.
Okay.
North Forsyth's last playoff win, I believe, was that crazy comeback against Brookwood several years ago. Am I right about that?
I think so, yeah.
If they fall down big to Blessed Trinity, I don't think you're recreating that. So I'm going to take Blessed Trinity on the road.
I think it would go back to the opening game in the Corky Kelwood North Forsyth against North Atlanta. Go back and look at that game. They led most of that game and eventually kind of gave in. We've seen them do that a lot this year as far as
they struggle to
finish games, and we saw that against Gainesville. I think, though, you get into the playoffs, you have yes, you still have some of that same mentality regular season, but I think you have maybe just a little bit different mentality, especially since it's, win or go home. So there's a sense of urgency when you get into these games as far as that goes. I think it being at Raider Valley, I think it's going to be a packed house on Friday night or tonight. I'm going to go with the Raiders in this one to get the win because I just feel like they're going to harp on what happened at the Gainesville game.
Right.
What happened in Gainesville? Big play, right?
Big plays.
Okay, they were leading 21-7, right?
Kickoff return, kickoff return.
There you go.
And yeah, that turned the game around. Look, the Blessed Trinity's been outscored in their 3 road losses. They were outscored 90-31. North Forsyth's defense is good enough to hold them down.
I think they are too.
And they can score.
I'm going to go with the Raiders, by the way.
We got that. So me and Bo with the Raiders. Caleb is taking the Titan.
What you got, Walker?
Well, I'm 2 games back of Seth.
Okay.
So I'm not going to make him pick first this week. I'm going to let him ride coattails
here we
if he
go.
wants to. If he wants to take the easy road to the win, he can ride my coattails.
That's a challenge.
Yeah,
that is a challenge.
I'm trying to
Our
get into
reverse
his head a-
psychology.
I already
I'm
know
into
who
his
I'm
head a little
taking.
bit.
I already know. I don't need you, Walker. That's gonna bite me right now.
Yeah,
the minute that left my mouth, I was like,
And
uh-oh.
that's staying in the show. I'm going to go with Blessed Trinity for the reason that Bo said that they've struggled to finish games. North Forsyth has. I think that North Forsyth is going to get into a lead, but I think that Blessed Trinity, their playoff experience is going to help them in this game, having been in the playoffs, even though it's not at the 6A classification. They've been in the playoffs a lot. North Forsyth has been right on the border of getting into the playoffs the past couple of years in 7A. They get in 6A. I just don't think they have that playoff experience to be able to figure out how to finish a close game in the playoffs. I'll take Blessed Trinity to win a very close game in Coal Mountain.
I'm going North Forsyth on this one, too, for all the reasons that Bo was talking about. I think they come into this game angry after what happened against Gainesville, with a chip on their shoulder and an attitude of, we're not letting this happen again. I go North Forsyth.
And by the way, can we just say that this ball game, this first-round matchup between North Forsyth and Blessed Trinity, is for the
I know where you're going with
great
this.
honor
Yes.
of getting to probably
Huge.
travel to Langston Hughes the
Oh,
following
yeah.
week.
Again, as we said that last week, why that
Gainesville
region
North-
championship
yes, it
was
was
so
huge.
important.
Massive.
Yeah, to get
absolutely.
on the other side of the bracket.
To not
from
have to play
Lake-
Hughes in the second round is a huge deal.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
Gainesville.
huge.
No,
Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
No,
All right,
none.
let's
I
move.
said it all.
Let's move down to 3A and let's go ahead and take a look at that Dawson Monroe area game. Right now, a 7:30 start on Saturday because of the GHSA. 3, 5, and 7 playing on Saturday, and the rest playing on Friday.
Can I ask
for
a
the lack
question?
of playoff certified officials, by the way.
Oh, is that what it
That's-
is? Because
that's
you know
what-
you have
yeah.
half as
Yeah.
many games in the state, which means you should not have a referee shortage, right?
I think it just
Well,
goes to show
so-
you how many young officials that we have. And when I say young, like, I don't want to say inexperienced, but with officials that don't have as many games under their belts.
What were you going to say?
So
Walker?
we talked on pregame on the North Georgia Sports Link with Greg Norton, a good friend of the area, and basketball and football. And he told us there's 3 things that you have to do to be a playoff certified official. Number 1, you have to be go through a summer camp. Number 2, you have to pass a rules test, or rather you have to go to a rules seminar and pass the rules test. But the third one is you have to go to a summer camp and pass that class to be able to be playoff certified. And for whatever reason, people just aren't going to those camps in the summer. So while there's, he said there's 80 something officials in his officials association in Northwest Georgia, and only 46 of them are playoff certified. So it's just people aren't going to these camps.
well, maybe they
Or
need to
these-
offer. Maybe they need to offer them at a time when they can go.
Are these
Yeah.
GHSA camps?
Yes,
Like, is this what GHSA says they have to do?
correct. It's in the GHSA bylaws for officials
So
or something like that.
Does the GHSA provide payment to these guys to take a week off of work to go get playoff certified in the camp?
I'm not sure. I don't know when they schedule these camps.
Yeah.
That's just what Greg was telling us
Okay.
on pregame, and it's just unfortunate that you have these 3 classifications who have worked the way that they have all season and kind of have to go play on Saturday, and there's no set play time, so. There are people playing at 1. There are people playing at noon. There are people playing at 3:30. It kind of feels a little bit like rec ball.
And let's
Yeah.
just call it what it is too. You're going to have a lot of playoff games. They're going to have far inferior atmospheres to
Yep.
what they would have had if you had
Yeah.
gotten the normal start
Yeah.
time, which for the home team is a major disadvantage.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the fact that you have a Saturday game and you all season long, as Walker just said, you've been playing on Friday. Now you have a Saturday game, and let's say you play at 7 o'clock or 7:30. It's not a normal day for you because on a Friday, the players are in school. They have the 8-hour day in school, so that's what they have there. Then they go, to the field house or whatever after school. The coaches have, their set schedule for them. Now, what do? Do you get them up at 8 a.m. on Saturday morning, get them to the field house, and you have to lay around all day? I mean, you're going to do that either way. You're going to lay around at home or you're going to lay around at the field house. So, yeah, it's going to be abnormal for them.
Right. On the back end of this, you play Saturday and you got to turn around and play the next Friday.
Yeah.
So you lose almost a day and a half of prep time that you would normally have. I'm not saying we've never done it before. So maybe this is going to be the trend, but surely there has to be a better
here's
way.
my
It started
thing.
a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, but we've not had.
Here's
it's
my
been
thing.
A few spotty games.
So my thing about the whole love Greg Norton to death, by the way, probably one of the best officials around here in football and in basketball. But you look at, if you have an official that called the Lambert Milton game. Now, I'm going to say it was probably playoff officials, probably one of their best crews, but you've had 10 games all season long with these same officials. If they're good enough to call a region contest, why would they not be good enough to call a playoff game?
Very good question.
Great
Did
point.
he have an answer for
what's
that?
the- I mean,
did you ask him that question, Walker?
No, it was pretty, just straight. The answer is people aren't going to camps for whatever reason, and until
also,
the Georgia High School Association either makes those camps accessible to more officials,
Right.
or they take that requirement off if they do X number of games. I don't think
and Greg's not going to be able to answer that
No,
question.
he's not.
Yeah.
But, but that makes a good. I mean, learning on the job. I mean, I would think that would be more important and more worthy than a camp in the summer.
Yeah. I would
That's
too.
just me.
I would too. But
I think you can I think the thing that should read before we get into this, Dawson Monroe area game, you either go to the camp or you do 8 out of the 10 weeks of games, or 8 or 9 out of the 12 weeks of games because of bye weeks. Because like you said, finding out how to officiate on the job is sometimes even better than going to a camp, because now you've got coaches yelling in your ear as opposed to a camp where you're just standing there, going through the motions.
well, guys, just think about that. You've got middle school, you've got JV, you've got park and rec. I mean, all could be a simulated camp. I mean, we could just say on-the-job training. But, all right, let's get to this game. Dawson, Monroe area, we talked about it a little bit earlier about, the luck of the draw, I guess you could say, if it is luck of the draw for Dawson County. Monroe area, kind of a high-flying offense, one of those spread teams, a very athletic quarterback. This is going to be a tough test for them. We know that Dawson defensive front, their front seven, they're pretty good.
Very good.
But is it going to be a secondary issue in this game?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, I want to let Walker lead this one off.
I think that Monroe area has the ability to, take off the top a little bit and be able to get downfield on Dawson. Now, it playing at 7:30 on a Saturday, even though that it's going up against Georgia football and there might be a little bit of a decreased crowd in Tiger Stadium because of that, I still think playoff football in Dawsonville is a little bit different. It's kind of like Brickyard Magic in November over at North Hall. Dawson County in the playoffs, whenever they host a playoff game, things just always seem to fall in the Tigers' way. I think that it happens again here. I think the Tigers win very close, probably a higher scoring game. I think Dawson will get the ball moving offensively with the run game and be able to score points and maybe get one stop late in the game to be able to knock off the Hurricane.
I think
Who are you taking?
Dawson.
Okay.
I think that Dawson probably got a pretty good warm-up for this kind of offense when they played Lumpkin last week. Now, Lumpkin runs the ball more than Monroe does.
Yes.
But Lumpkin does run that spread, and they do throw. Cooper Scott's probably the best passer in Region 7-3A, maybe Trip Nix. So Dawson County, I think, got a good little warm-up with Lumpkin County. Now, they were dominant. Lumpkin County's not going to have the kind of athletes on the perimeter to defend that Monroe area does. But I do still think it was probably a pretty good warm-up. Then they get a bye week to rest up. I think this is a game Dawson County is going to be supremely prepared for coming in. They'll have to adjust to the speed early. But remember, they played Stevens County and Lambert earlier in the year. They've seen speed this year. They didn't necessarily look good against it, but they've seen it. They know what it looks like and what it's like to play against it. I'm taking Dawson County as well. I think they will be very prepared for this matchup Friday night.
Yeah,
or Saturday night.
I agree with you on being prepared for this game. And you did just mention Lambert and Stevens County. I think even more so Lambert and the way that their offense was really high flying. So they have seen, an athletic offense. As Caleb just said, they obviously didn't play very well against them, but they have played – Stevens and Lambert. So I think that's prepared them. And also, as you said, Lumpkin County and that offense. But, yes, I think the Tigers will be prepared for this game. And, again, on you, looking at that magic that seems to happen. I mean, we all thought Sandy Creek was going to win last year, and Dawson wins in the first round against them. Yeah.
Thought they'd win big.
Yeah. Huge.
By the way, they did it on the road at
Westminster.
Westminster.
Yeah.
That's right. I got that wrong earlier, so it was Wesleyan, but it's Westminster. They did it on the road, so it's not just Dawsonville. Dawson County just plays really well in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, and they get them at home. So I'm going to go with the Tigers in this one.
I was at that game last year with Sandy Creek, and Dawson County was the better team that night. Now, if they played multiple times during the year with Sandy Creek's athleticism, I think Sandy Creek took them a little lightly. Dawson County came right out and jumped on them, got the lead, and controlled that game. And I can see this happening again. There's a great matchup when you look at the Monroe area offense is 9th, and Dawson County's defense is 10th, and you got the front seven. They've got 22 sacks between Adams and Kurtz, so they're going to probably be able to bring some pressure. But I think the key matchup is going to be the Dawson offense because we've seen it struggle at times, we've seen it do well. When they've scored 17 or more, they're 8-0. So I think if they can score and put some points on the board against Monroe, I think that they're going to win the game. I'm going to go with Dawson because I think that defense will make a couple of stops. I think they're good enough. They've shown that they can stop people when they need to. So I'm going to go with Dawson. But I think this could be one of the better games of the entire weekend.
Oh, it's my turn?
Oh, it's your turn.
It's your turn.
Playoff football at Tiger Stadium, Dawson.
Oh, wow, that was quick.
That was simple.
Yeah, I mean,
Also,
for all the reasons, you guys always do all the talking before I pick anyway, so.
Well, you'll pick first next time.
You say everything. Maybe not.
The other question of that game, turnovers. That's going to be
Yes.
Yeah.
obviously. I mean, that's every
Right,
game, but
right.
Dawson has struggled some with turnovers.
But
this
going back
year.
to the schedule thing, Sid Maxwell knows what he's doing. He
does.
scheduled Lambert and Stevens County and some of the teams he did for a reason.
They've won 5 straight first-round games, has Dawson, and we're talking about over a wide variety of opponents. So there is something about Sid Maxwell getting his teams ready for the first round of the playoffs. The second round is when you start really seeing, some tough matchups. But in the first round,
Road trips, too.
Yeah. In the first round, they're the tough matchup. So I like them at home. This look, 8-3 is good. This might be, I don't want to say it's going to be the only game that 7-3 can get. But when you look at the rest of the schedule, for the playoffs and the 8 and 7 matchup, it's going to be they may hang on Dawson, but that Lumpkin game is going to look interesting also.
At Lumpkin, speaking of that, let's move on to Oconee County at Lumpkin as we welcome the former coach back to the Arabin Hall, head coach of Oconee County, former coach at Flowery Branch. We'll roll into Delaney against Heath Webb. Those two have coached against each other, Heath at Gainesville and Ben Hall at Flowery Branch. So they know each other. They probably know what's going to happen here. In this contest, we'll start with Walker on this one because Walker's watched the Indians, and, of course, you have too, Jeff. But Walker, I think the Indians have a shot in this one.
Yeah, I think this is ideal matchup for Lumpkin. I said on my Twitter this week that Dawson got the bad end of the straw. Lumpkin gets the good end of the straw from the coin flip. Oconee County is a team that, yes, they're the number 8 team in the state in AAA, but the type of ball that they play fits what Lumpkin wants to try and do more. Oconee is going to have an outstanding defense, and that's what Lumpkin has struggled with all year, with people that are going to bring pressure, and Oconee County is going to bring a little bit more pressure, but offensively, they're not going to, put up 40 points, 50 points. That's just not their MO traditionally. And I think that's what keeps Lumpkin in this game. I think Cooper Scott is going to have to do some things with his feet. He's been a little bit quiet with his feet the past few weeks, especially against Dawson. He was shut down that way, and he didn't have many rushing yards against West Hall last week, and he didn't have to. But that's what he's going to have to do to win this game. I think Lumpkin, with the playoff atmosphere, this may be the only game in Region 7 3A that has an atmosphere like Dahlonega is going to be for this game. I know that everybody's going to that game since it's a 1 p.m. kick and it's 6 hours before UGA kicks against Mississippi State. Give me Lumpkin County in that home atmosphere to beat Oconee and advance to the second round of the playoffs for the first time in school history.
You know, I think Walker actually made in his comments a lot of my case for picking Oconee County in this game, which is who I'm picking, by the way. And that is,
You should have kept that a little bit longer hidden.
well, no, listen, give the people what they want. They want the picks.
Okay, moving on.
That's what I'm about here on this show, giving the people what they want.
That's it. Move on. We're done.
Next, Jeff, go ahead.
No, well, then no commentary necessary.
Well,
from
no,
you.
listen,
So,
I was
Bo,
just-
what have you got? What do you got, Bo?
Go ahead, Caleb.
So, what happened against Dawson County really bugs me with Lumpkin County, because I think Oconee County is going to bring a little bit of an added level of physicality from what they saw out of the Tigers 2 weeks ago, and that concerns me a little bit. And you know, is Cooper Scott going to have a lot of time to throw the ball? Are they going to be able to establish some kind of a running game? And can they keep from turning the ball over? I mean, they threw 2 pick sixes against Dawson County. That worries me a little bit. And I agree with what you said, Walker, that Oconee County is not going to come in there looking to light up the board with 45 points, but they are also going to they're going to play complementary football. They're going to do exactly what they need to do based off of what their defense is doing. I'm taking the Warriors on the road here. And you know, for Lumpkin County, I think this is one of those games where, you know, we've talked about how great this first year under Heath Webb has been, right? Like we've talked about how amazing it's been, what a ride it's been. Sometimes you go on rides like this, you're trying to build a program, you're trying to get to that level of competitiveness, and sometimes you just kind of run into a wall of a team that's a little bit ahead of you in the process. And I know Oconee County's under a first-year head coach too, but they were coming off of a period of success under Travis Nolan. The kids on this Oconee County team, they know what this kind of environment's like. They know what it takes to win these kind of games. I think this is a situation where Lumpkin might be running into a team that's just a little ahead of them in the process, and it might be a little bit of a sour day in Dahlonega. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I'm taking Oconee County.
Look, I think I'm going to have to agree with you for that. You talk about a team a little ahead. Oconee 2 years ago, they're back-to-back finals, state finals. You know, at first I think in 4A, then 3A, and you know these kids on the seniors on this team, they've had all that experience. Whether they played some or played a lot, they've been there. You know, you can point to the early season, I guess, struggles that they had. You know, they only averaged like about 18 points a game in their first 4 games, but they were learning a new system. They've scored right at 31 points a game over their past 6 games. I think Lumpkin can keep this close for a while, but I think just the experience that Oconee is going to bring, and I think you mentioned also a level of physicality that's really not there at this level in 7-3A. I think it's just going to be too much for Lumpkin. I think they can keep it close for a while, but I think Oconee ends up winning this game by, you know, maybe a touchdown or more. But look, I also don't want to discount the Magic. You know, they had that huge game that they lost to Dawson. They had that disappointment. They probably looked at that. How can we make that different? And you know, when you've got guys like Cooper Scott and Cal Faulkner and Mason Sullins, you know, you have a shot. And I think they have a shot. If they come out and play really well in the first half and jump on them, maybe they can make Oconee doubt themselves. But, you know, if they come out and kind of throw it around a little bit, not take advantage of some things, I just think the experience of Oconee will eventually win out in this game. But I think they have a shot to win this game.
You talk about a playoff experience with Oconee. How does that translate to a new head coach?
Well, you know, he's got playoff experience. He understands. These kids understand. I think for Oconee, I think it was just a matter of getting used to Ben Hall and his system. And again, I look at the last 6 games. They've gotten better.
They've gotten used to it.
They've gotten used to it.
That's the thing. It's about the kids. It's
Right.
less about the coach, and it's more
Right.
about the kid. The guys on this Oconee County roster have been there before.
Right.
And as long as they're comfortable in the system, and like Jeff said, I think by this point they probably are, then that allows the experience that they've already got under their belts to then come into play.
Right.
It doesn't come into play if they're not comfortable in the system, but I think they are at this point.
Look, I'm like you. I would love to see Lumpkin no offense, Coach, we love you, Ben Hall, but I think it would be great for Lumpkin to, kind of keep this little magical season going. But, sometimes it's better. I'm not saying it's better to lose, but if you lose in a game like this where you get into the playoffs, you've had a good year, okay, now we've been exposed, so to speak. We know what we need to work on so that we can jump it forward the next season.
Yeah.
Because if however, if you win and get that experience, who knows?
I love this if I'm Heath Webb because it's almost like a win-win. If you win, it's great for obvious reasons. If you lose, your kids are going to see a program that's been there, done that,
Right.
and they're going to see, okay, that's what we want to be like.
That's correct.
And we just got to see it up close and personal.
The game that keeps going back to me is that Dawson Lumpkin game, and I think somebody on here mentioned that game as far as the turnovers against Dawson. And I think you guys are talking about the experience. You guys are talking about the playoff experience. That's exactly what Dawson had playing against Lumpkin, and it showed in that game. It was close early, and I think this game is going to be close early as well, but I think Oconee County is going to outpace them in the second half. Again, hate to say that, but Lumpkin has had a fantastic season. And they have learned how to win this season. I think that's the biggest takeaway for this Lumpkin County team. They may not want to hear this, but they have learned how to win this season. They're only going to build on that. But I'm going to have to pick the Warriors, even though it's on the road. It's a 1 p.m. start. It's going to be a beautiful Saturday afternoon. I think the high is around 64 degrees and sunshine. So it's going to be a great day for high school football on Saturday. But I'm going to pick the Warriors in this one.
All right, Seth, you're up.
Well, guys, I've been on the bandwagon with this Lumpkin County team since the get-go, since the start, and I don't feel like jumping off.
Okay.
I'm going Lumpkin County. I mean, at home.
You also don't feel like jumping off of Walker's coattails either.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I was going to go Lumpkin before he said anything, okay? And I've gone against him. I've picked directly against him today, so
Walker
if
has
nothing
something.
else,
I want
if
this to
nothing
be
else,
said.
I have my pride.
I want this to
Barely.
be said and recorded.
Okay.
Stevens County on upset alert tonight. Wesleyan's due for a win. They've played bad the past couple of weeks. Stevens played bad the past couple of weeks. Watch out for the Wolves tonight.
Uh-oh. Whoa.
Is that your Region 7 3A upset alert?
Yeah, that's my.
That's another.
I like the way that Wesleyan can play, and they haven't looked good the past couple of weeks. Stevens really hasn't looked bad or good the past couple of weeks. I think Wesleyan can come in and get the upset.
We need a spoiler alert effect. That's another segment we need.
I'll see about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the last show,
we also
possibly.
Don't. We also
Walker-
don't have you doing the new segment thing and the new setup yet.
Yeah.
We should probably get that footage.
Walker, I can
New
agree with you on
segment.
that. But
Oh, me?
Yeah.
But I've
Did
seen.
you call me Walker?
Oh, did I say
No, I was
Walker?
talking to Walker.
No,
Oh,
I'm pretty
that
sure
was
he
him.
called me Walker.
No, that was him.
Yeah, Walker took her.
I was going to say real quick on his upset alert. I could see that because, you look at the scores with Stevens, but I've seen them play offensively.
You actually can't see it until tonight, Jeff.
Well, that's
Tomorrow
true.
night.
No,
Well,
tomorrow
right.
night.
That's right.
That's right. Tomorrow, whatever.
Yeah.
But I've seen them play, and their offense is kind of a grinded out style. They have some playmakers, and they can make plays almost anytime they want. Their defense is really, really good. And when you have Cam in the special teams, he broke a long kickoff return against Branch when I was there. They have plenty of playmakers. I could see why you would think, you look at the scores and think they're not playing so well, but I think that's just kind of their style. They're not a real flashy offense, but they can produce big plays when they need it. I could see that. I think Stevens will win that game.
Okay, guys, let's go ahead and run down the rest of the games that we do have on the schedule. These are going to be what we have left on Friday. Sprayberry at Gainesville. Go Red Elephants.
Gainesville big.
Elephants.
Elephants.
Gainesville.
East Jackson at Rockmart.
Rockmart.
Yeah,
Rockmart.
Rockmart.
Boy, you're talking about a rough first round draw.
Yeah.
Boy,
That's rough.
that is a tough draw. Great.
It's not a fun drive.
No, great. Real kudos to the Eagles for making the playoffs.
Yeah, no
for the
doubt.
first-
Yep.
Cameron Pettis has them moving in the right direction. This was just not the. This wasn't the matchup you'd want in your first playoff game in a while.
Everybody go Rockmart.
Yes.
Rockmart.
Yep.
Union County at Model.
I'll take Union.
Union.
This is a toss-up game, but I like the Panthers on the road.
I'm gonna go model. I gotta go against Seth somewhere. This is as good as a spot as any.
Who
Thank you for that.
went with Union?
Me.
Me.
Oh, Both of y'all went with Union.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
It's
And I
it's
went model.
It's right there on the board.
On the board.
Oh yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
On
gotcha.
the board.
Who did you take, Bo?
I don't think you
On
looked in
the,
the
I
right
haven't
place.
taken anybody
Oh,
yet.
well, you go first.
No, I don't
wanna
wanna
look
go
some-
first.
No, you go next.
I want to look something
right.
up.
Well, I also am looking something up before I make my pick.
Model was giving up 17.5 points on defense.
We have brought the whip around to a grinding
I'm
halt.
going
Yeah.
Panthers.
Yeah.
I'm going Union.
You're going Union, huh? There was a stat I wanted to look up. Something about model.
You've already done
Nope,
your
you've
stat
already
of the
done your
day.
segment.
I've already done
Pick.
the stat of the
Segment's
day.
done.
Pick.
All right, this is what I was. I was just saying. I think I'm also going to take Union. Union only
There we
has
go.
one playoff win in
Okay,
their history.
Dade County
But
at Raven County.
Wait.
Raven.
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 Oh my
Raven.
gosh.
Now you have some more time, Jeff.
Oh, my
you can either
gosh.
choose it to pick Raven or you can choose it to stay on Union County.
Wow, I have to choose one of those games, so I lose the other one if I don't.
That is
pick?
right.
Oh my God! All right, I'll take you. All right, I'm gonna take Union and Raven. There you go.
There we
Okay.
go.
This is a,
Nicely
this is a
done.
bust, and if you don't get on, we are leaving.
Commerce
We're in the
at
middle of nowhere.
Tryon.
We're going to leave you like I did at that state playoff
What's the game, Bo?
Commerce at Tryon.
Commerce.
Commerce.
Hey, Commerce is 8-0 all time against Tryon.
This is something else. You've
I'll
had too
take
many
Commerce.
stats of the day.
I'm gonna go with Commerce.
I said Commerce.
What we got left?
Bo?
Commerce.
Okay.
2 more games.
LCA at Creekside Christian.
Or
3
4 more
versus
games.
2 here.
Give me LCA.
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 LCA is a big favorite in this game. by
Oh,
the
yeah.
way.
Okay, LCA. You talked me into it.
Yeah, but they were big favorites in other games, and they didn't play
Lakeview
very well.
Academy at Heritage Noonan. Did you pick?
I'll take
No,
LCA.
oh.
It's kind of a waffling, but I'll take them.
Yeah, I was waffling.
I'm going to go with
too.
Heritage against Lakeview. That's the next game, right?
Yes,
Yeah, I got it.
yes.
I'm going to go with Heritage.
Okay.
Seth, where are you going?
you
This is
only
the
one
other
that-
good spot I see.
That's a long road trip.
Who did you
I have
take?
not picked
You haven't
yet.
Picked anybody yet? Okay.
I'm going Lakeview.
Okay.
I'm going to go Lakeview as well. I was hoping he would pick Heritage. Landon Haynes is going to go off again this week.
Did he go off last week?
He had 213 yards of rushing.
I picked first.
Somebody-
My, how the turntables.
Somebody here
Have the
called,
turntables?
Somebody here
It's an
called that,
office
by the way.
reference. Come on.
Who would have that been, Caleb?
I think that was me.
Oh, was it you?
Somebody on this show, roll the
What
clip.
do you
Somebody
take?
on the show said Landon Haynes was going to go off last week.
They did because I thought it was Walker, but it was you. Okay.
Wait, do we have proof
No, it
of
was
that?
Caleb.
Do we have proof of that, Caleb?
I will go with
Do
Lakeview.
we have proof of that?
All right, moving on.
I guess I'll find out.
Everybody pick Lakeview.
No, not everybody picked Lakeview. Caleb took.
I took Heritage.
No, you took Heritage.
That
okay.
is
true.
Okay.
I'm going to take Heritage also.
Okay. Our final 2 Saturday games: Peachtree Ridge at Buford,
Buford.
which is a 1 p.m.
Buford.
kick, by the way. Buford. Cass at Jefferson, which is a 7 p.m. start. I'll go with the
Jefferson.
Dragons.
Jefferson.
And there you go.
Is that it?
That is
Seth's
all we
got
got.
one more pick to make, though.
Yes, he does. And
Of
Seth's
course
got
I
one
do.
more pick
Oh,
to see if
yeah,
he can
that's
finish
right.
regular.
Even
or
though-
if he
he's
can
3-0.
finish this- Yeah,
which is cool.
he's going for 4-0 this week.
But even though I love how like we said, oh, if you get this, we're not doing it again. Proceeds to do it 2 more times.
and you keep
3
getting
more
them
times.
right. So
So when do you guys just let it go?
what we're gonna do
When
is
you-
we're gonna award these 3 wins to your overall record.
All right, I'm game for that.
Walker, you in on that?
Next year.
I was about to say, Walker.
I knew you would
I
disagree
feel
with
like,
that.
I feel like you ambushed Walker with
Next
that.
year.
He's
That-
doing
that
striking
felt-
distance.
you left
That
the-
felt
left
like
the
a
end of that
direct
sentence
ambush
open.
at Walker. And
Coming in 2023's pickup show.
Okay, what's the game?
yeah, give it to me.
Class 5A, Lithia Springs, the 3 seed at Kell, the 2 seed.
I know who you're going with.
You know who I'm going with? Then read my mind, Bo. Tell me.
I just read it.
What out? Read it out loud.
I'm not. I will after
You ever had that
I
moment
will
where,
after
like,
your pick.
that TV moment where it's like someone's reading? Could you read this for me?
No.
Read it out loud. Oh,
Like a 1970s
I,
sitcom.
I know what you're going with.
you know what I'm going with? You want to try and say it at the same time? Countdown.
All right, 3,
Aw.
2,
2, 1.
1.
Cal.
That's what I thought.
That's
Yeah,
exactly
that's
what I thought.
too.
Cal.
Okay.
Lock time.
Good luck.
Let's get to the
Good
locks.
luck. Thanks. That felt so insincere, Walker.
That's because it was.
It was. let's see. Caleb, you get first pick this week since you and Walker are tied, but you beat him in last week's standings. So, Caleb, you get first pick. Walker, second pick. Third pick, Seth. Fourth pick, Jeff. And then, of course, I'm bringing up the rear.
Bo, you're going to finish over 500.
Hey, maybe.
Did he get back to 500 last week?
He's 6-6
Yes,
right now.
and back to 500.
Nice.
All right.
So he's trying to finish above 500.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Jefferson minus 26 at home against Cass. Jefferson's going to win this game big.
Okay.
Nice.
I got the Dragons minus 26.
Okay.
It's a great line. I'm going to take Lumpkin plus 21. They keep it close. I think Lumpkin wins, but I get 3 touchdowns there. I'll take the Indians as well.
Dang it. Dadgum.
Aha, Seth, I gotcha.
Are you going to bleep that like you did mine last week?
No, because I didn't swear.
Oh, that's true.
Next,
Who is next?
Walker.
Oh.
I
He
think
just,
Marcus.
he just did.
Seth.
Seth.
My bad.
Oh, Seth is
Seth
next.
is
Okay.
next.
Give me Lanier Christian plus 8.
-8.
They're already
Minus 8.
-8.
I'm dumb.
Yeah, it's okay.
You said they were a big favorite in that.
Huge.
Okay,
I was remembering wrong.
obviously.
Huge.
Yeah, LCA
I was
covers.
really confused. Now I want to take back my pick.
Too bad we've already
Too
moved
bad we
on.
moved
Too
on.
bad.
Someone
Yeah, well,
else
we
has
had-
spoken, and
We're
those
in
are
the
the
lock
rules.
segment now,
He
Jeff.
would-
We're
he-
completely
You
He
know
was
the rules,
dishing out
kid.
misinformation. Over
You
here.
already took your finger off the pick, so sorry.
It's more than a
Complete-
touchdown and an extra point.
completely new segment.
Oh, really?
Do.
That's trademarked.
All right, so who's next?
You-
I'm next?
Yeah.
Oh. I'm going to take Gainesville minus 28 over Sprayberry.
I like that. I like that
I
one.
did
I like
not
that.
think that was going to get to me.
All right.
I am going to pick North Forsyth to win.
Oh,
Hey, there we go.
The Raiders.
The Raiders.
All right.
And that's it, folks.
That's it?
That's all we got. By the way, coming up this week, we'll have a different voice, or tonight, a different voice on the Tailgate Show.
That's right. Walker.
Walker
is
to
host-
Kerr.
That's right. Is hosting my shows this week.
Where are you going to be?
I got some family business to attend to,
He's
but
busy.
Walker's going to be taking care of things. It's gonna be
Walker's
all
got
good.
the tailgate and the scoreboard. How about you, Walker? You ready for it?
Yeah, we're going to have fun. We're going to look at the playoffs a little bit. We'll talk to some coaches. We'll have some giveaways. And then at the end of the night, we'll wrap up everything with scoreboard and look ahead to Saturday's games. It's going to be a fun night of
Do
football.
I still need to do it from the heart? Because I'm so used
Yes.
to saying Caleb, I'm going to mess that
yes,
up.
you're going to have to say, hey, Walker to Kerr.
Walter Kerr,
Yes.
how should I address you on that?
I want to hear
Mr.
it
Walker.
For the first. I want to hear it for the first time on Friday night, Jeff.
He never listens to it. He never listens. I go, did you,
You know
hear
what?
me?
I can't
Like
blame
a,
him. He
like
makes.
a groom at a
You're
wedding.
gonna have to
He wants
listen
it
in
to
later
be the
tonight
first
to
look
find out,
natural.
but we may make a little tweak with the show. Jeff Hart may be given from the heart live.
Ooh. Look
Hey,
at, zoom
yeah,
in
that's
on
not
that
ha-
face. Zoom in on that face.
I have enough trouble.
We got to
just
get out of
normally.
here,
The
folks.
music's running out.
Hey, check us out at Friday Game Night. You can follow us on live action on Friday Game Night on our Twitter. Also, go to accesswdun.com after the game. You can find out all the stories, highlights, and much more for the entire crew.
No time.
Enjoy the first round of the state playoffs.
Ah!
Help me!
I figured when I told you to wrap it up, you'd go a little bit longer. You've got about 30 seconds left.
I mean, you were whipping the finger around.
I feel like really we should have had a more because that's it, right?
Yeah.
We should have had a more somber like
Maybe we do a show next week just to say so long, farewell.
Remember, the big
Well,
surprise is
let's-
that we're going to continue the show.
Yeah, we are actually going to
Into
continue into
basketball.
basketball.
we should
so.
do like an 80s
Let's
montage.
let's just
like,